Good morning. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Um, Density, and when how do we fight our density, or how do we counter our density? One, we sit with it. It's pretty straightforward. I'm recalling a period of time where I was in healthcare and I was doing direct care, much like you would imagine a CNA, a certified nurse's assistant, a licensed nurse's assistant, an EMT, and there was a practice which I didn't necessarily agree with, but it was there was a lot of different terms that were used to describe it, but it was referred to as a planned failure. And what the purpose was is, in these rehab settings, in a controlled environment, people were allowed to, shall we say, for lack of a better word, trip. They were healing from a wound, but for whatever reason, aka their insurance company, wouldn't cover certain treatments that would expedite their healing. There was an allowance for planned failure, where they were allowed to, quote unquote, trip. No, see, this person needs a cane. This person needs a walker. This person needs one-on-one. They need 24-hour-a-day care. They need, whatever it was for that individual. But the failure needed to happen in order to get the proper treatment, if that makes any sense. Any of you who might be in the healthcare field or have had some experience, you might know what I'm talking about. It's not where you want somebody or you plan for them to get hurt, but you need more resources for this person. But the density that I've been dealing with lately is going from one job to another, transferring to another job. One of those jobs didn't work out in very short time. It was 4 days. And I had some other work planned, but that work went very quick. And I found myself rapidly reaching that period of unemployment. Who am I if I'm not an employee? Who am I if I'm not bringing home the bacon? And for being a guy, with having the excuse me one second, I'm going to turn that off. It's a little too loud. Apologies for that. It's actually quite nice outside, but that was my air conditioner. Anyway, where was I? The density that I've been feeling. So who am I if I'm not employed? Who am I if I'm not making money? These constructs of that somehow I lose my value. I lose my value if I'm not working. I have a couple of days off. So what monies I had remaining, all of a sudden I noticed myself doing this. Checking my bank statement and what do I owe, and the bank's going to come down on me for this, or that company's going to come down on me for that, or the electric bill, whatever, right? So I went through my bills and I paid all my bills and I had a bit left. And I, okay, so that's all well and good, but then my mind started taking, well, You better find something before next month's bills come in, and that pressure that society puts on us, and that pressure that I'm putting on myself. I've got to perform in order to have value. That my value stems from my bank account. It doesn't. It doesn't. So how do we get, how do we get from that point where, I was pretty deep in it. I was like, oh, it was oppressive, and I felt the anxiety rising in me. And I don't know, 2 days, 3 days, something along those lines. And there was moments in between there where I was like, yep, you know what, I'm gonna do some self-care, and I'm gonna get out of my head, and I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna get out of my head, and I'm gonna go for a walk with my dog. I'm gonna get out of my head. I'm gonna go for a drive and listen to some good music. I'm gonna go out in the yard and do a bit of gardening. Pull some weeds, whatever. Get my feet in the grass. But it was oppressive. How am I gonna pay that bill? How am I gonna buy food, whatever, those basic needs things that you don't realize that, oh, well, I'm secure in my job. Are you? Are you secure in your job? That last job, one of the last jobs I had, we went from a staff of 12 down to 3 in about a week because of an oversight. I'll just leave it at that. There was an oversight on a corporate level, and they got fined for some pretty egregious stuff. How long would you be employed if something similar? And this is a big company, man. I'm talking. It's a big multi. How long would they keep you around if they got nailed? You know what I mean? And that's kind of a similar situation. We went from a staff of 12 down to 3, and the expectation was that 3 we were going to do the work of 12. It ain't going to happen. So in that respect, and I'm not trying to add more stress. I'm just trying to, who are you? Who am I? Who are we? If not for our jobs and our family and all these external perceived things that give our life a perceived value, who are we? Who am I? And this was bought for me. So I didn't purchase this. It was bought for me. I try to recycle and I try to be mindful. So I sat with those feelings, those dense feelings, the feelings of fear of lack, and am I going to find a job or this or that or whatever. And it's pretty intense, it's a pretty intense thing when somebody messes with your basic needs. You know what I mean? Someone or, through a course of events, something opens up or closes, and you're sitting there going, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And it was very stressful. And it had to do with money. Money. Jobs. Why do we work? Money. Why do we need money? To survive. Basic needs. Food, shelter, clothing, transportation, whatever. And when that is pulled away from you, you're left with, okay, well, I'm going to either go nuts in my head and run here, run there, fill it, job applications, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, all right, so this is the world we live in, and I, need to work, and the current state of affairs, I need to pay my lot rent, my association fee. But what I was left with was that sickening feeling of, this is such bullcrap. This is such bullcrap. Engaging with this dense thought process. And I'm reminded of a story from, I believe it's in the Bible. It might not be, but you might have heard this one. There's two people. Actually, there's three. There's a person on the street who is, let's say, homeless. And there's a very wealthy person, and there's a very poor person. The wealthy person reaches into his pocket and dishes out $10,000. Gives it to the person on the street. Doesn't even think twice about it. Yeah, here you go. And then there's the poor person who reaches into their pocket and has a single coin. That's all they have. And they take that single coin and they hand it over to the homeless person. And the lesson is, which offering was more valuable? The one who gave like it was, whatever, or the one who took everything they had and gave it. Everything. It was all she had. So how do we counter those feelings? What are you feeling? What is the opposite of what you're feeling? So in that respect, these last couple of days, I was feeling fear of lack. I'm going to lose. I don't have a job. I don't have money coming in. Old stuff. I don't. That is not who I am. That's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. That's not who I'm moving toward being more in tune and in line with. And I found myself in a situation where I knew I had to do something to address that feeling of lack, and I knew what I had in my bank account. This is where it gets good, guys. How do we manifest abundance? How do we manifest abundance? And I can feel it welling up right now. I had a brief conversation with someone yesterday, and without how do you counter the feelings that you're feeling? I'm going to leave that topic, that other thing I was about to say, and I'm going to leave that one, and I'm going to just move on. So here I am, I'm sitting with these feelings of lack and fear, and where's my next meal going to come from, as it were. What am I going to do next month? And that's the old programming you have to produce. Where does that come from? It comes from our education from a very young age. You have to be a productive member of society. You have to produce. It comes from religion. It comes from the banking system itself. Very, very powerful, guys. It comes at us from a lot of different angles. So I did something to counter or to address those feelings of lack. If you tell the universe, I am lacking, you're going to lack. If you tell the universe, I'm abundant, you'll find yourself abundant with resources to do so. So I looked at my bank account, And I did something with some of that money that would seem, that dude's out of work. What's he doing? Taking that money, and like, he's, what the hell is he doing? That's my point. I'm whatever you're feeling about your situation, do the opposite. Do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I wish, here's another example. I wish I was in love. I wish I had a partner, let's say, right? We all have these ideas about, the perfect relationship, a soulmate, a twin flame, a husband, a wife, a partner, You're your partner. You are your partner. Be in love with yourself. Treat yourself the way you would treat a lover, a wife, a husband, a partner. Treat yourself that way. Be in love with yourself. Nurture yourself as you would nurture a partner. Make yourself a cup of coffee. Draw yourself a bath. Take a shower. Take yourself out to dinner. What, you were, oh, they're sitting there alone. Jog on, man. Jog on. Do the very thing that you're scared of losing. Do the very thing that you're scared of losing. For me, in this particular case, money, money, money. Give it away. Give it away. And how did that manifest? This is the kicker, you guys. This is the kicker. I had, I've been putting out job applications, and I've had a few very promising interviews and whatever, blah, 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 whatever. I had a telephone interview, an initial, a few days ago. I got a call back yesterday. Now, this is right after, I'm talking like, you guys, 3 hours later? 3 hours later. So I had this initial phone interview, call number 1. Who are you, or why are you interested in this position? And then yesterday, I got my second call back for an actual, and due to this person, this human resources person, their schedule being as busy as it is, they respectfully asked me, would you be okay with having an over-the-phone actual interview? I'm like, sure, why not? Why not? So we spent, we had a what you would call a job interview over the phone. And we talked about all the aspects of the job, and pay and benefits and time off and what the job expectations were, the entire schmear. And for all intent and purpose, I have a job. And it's well within my skill set. The pay is within a reasonable, it's something that I can accept. Yep, I can work with that. But within 3 hours of me manifesting my own abundance, within 3 hours, there was a huge shift. And somebody calls me up and says, yeah, we'd like to have you, and I'm going away this week. And the person who interviewed me, she's like, no, that's cool, go have fun. And the first business day that you're back, we're gonna sit down and have signatures signed and offer letters signed and what have you. So manifest your own abundance, whatever it is that you feel that you're lacking. If it's love yourself. If it's you're feeling lack, give. Abundance doesn't come from hoarding. It comes from giving. It's like the universe says, okay, we're going to give somebody something and see what they do with it. We're going to give somebody a loving relationship. Are they going to nurture it, or are they going to strangle it? Somebody who's experiencing lack, we're going to give them a bit of money and see what they do with it. Are they going to hoard it, or are they going to do something with it? You follow where I'm going with this? And here I am, I'm sitting here a day later, and I'm just like, that anxiety, it seems like wasted time, but it was very self-reflective, and it gave me a much better idea that I am so much more than an employee, and my value does not come from money, but a lot of my value can be expressed by what I do with it. You know? Peace that surpasses all understanding. Whatever it is that you're desiring, be that. Be that. You know? Be in love with a stranger on the street. If love and those relationships, you know, a loving relationship is something that you're thinking about, it's something I think about. I do. You know, so what do? You love a stranger. Love a stranger. And I don't mean anything inappropriate about that. But loving a stranger, it could be something as simple as opening a door for somebody, shaking their hand, eye contact, you know, smiling, being friendly. Love, we're all one. We're all one. I am you, you are me, we are one. A stranger in the grocery store, let him cut in front of you in the line. This is how you love others, and this is how we love ourselves. Be in love. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Have a great day, you guys. I'm out. You know, I'm out for, you know, probably a week at least. Which, very excited. I'm going on a trip. And it's going to be good. Peace. I see you. I love you. And enjoy a peace that surpasses all understanding.